For the subsection 1.1, this part is the most important part for you. Okay, so if we reduce the profit of a product, will we generate more revenue? If we increase the production, will our profits rise? So, profit loss analysis is a method for answering such question in order to make sound business decision. Okay, so in this course, we will discuss we will learn the profit loss analysis. So because of this reason, this part is very important. Okay, we will give the response for the previous questions. So here are the basic concept of profit loss analysis. A manufacturing company has costs. So we will denote the capital C, the cost. Okay, so C is the cost. The cost includes fixed costs such as plant overhead, product design, setup, and promotion, maybe salary for the people, etc. And variable cost, which depends on the number of items produced. So we can say that, let's write, cost equals fixed cost plus variable cost. The revenue denoted by the R, capital R, this is revenue. Maybe the revenue, the cost is better. Let's write the cost, the revenue. Revenue is also known as the income. Is the amount of money received from the sale of its products. So it's income. The company take a loss if revenue is less than cost. Okay. So there is a loss, take a loss. Okay, loss, let's say. Loss if revenue less than cost. Has a profit. Let's write here. Has a profit if revenue bigger than cost. If revenue and cost is the same, the company breaks even. Okay, the company so breaks even. Okay, let's say breaks even. Also the value for the number of the item when the revenue and cost is the same is known as a break-even point. Okay, in the future we will discuss. But basically this concept, the cost notation, revenue notation, and this relation are very important for this course. Okay, in the future we will use this concept. So we have another concept, profit. The profit, which is noted by the P. Okay, P. This is the profit. The profit is equal to revenue minus cost. Okay, so the profit equals revenue minus cost. So the company takes a loss if profit less than zero, because revenue minus cost less than zero here. Okay, so this implies revenue minus cost less than zero and the revenue minus cost is profit. So profit less than 0. So if the profit less than 0, there is a loss. The company breaks even if profit is 0. So from here, revenue minus cost equals 0. So this is profit again. And if revenue minus cost is bigger than 0, if revenue minus cost bigger than 0, the profit is positive. So to predict it is revenue, a company use a price demand function. Okay, so to predict the revenue, a company use the price demand function. Price demand function is not by the p of x but small p of x. Okay, so small p of x, which is price demand function. Determining using historical data or sampling techniques that specify the relationship between the demand x and the price p. Okay, so maybe we can denote by this way. This is p, this is price. So price is specified in terms of the x is the demand. I will give them some example to you. So a point x comma p in the Cartesian coordinate system is on the graph of the price demand function. Okay, if x is item can be sold at the price of p per item. So x of p is on the graph of the price demand equation, the function or equation, but let's say function, price demand function, okay, if x item can be sold at a price p dollars per item. So p represents the price per item. Okay, normally a reduction in the price p will increase the demand x. It is logical. So the graph of the price demand function is expected to go downhill as you move from left to right. So generally, our price demand equation will be like this one. X-axis represents the demand, y-axis represents the price. Okay, so for the sum point for this value of the x, the price is this one. If price is decrease, for example, for this price, demand increase. Okay, so let's say P1, this is X1. So as you see, when price decrease, demand increase. Okay, the revenue is equal to the number of the items sold multiplied by the price per item. Okay, so this is the important. The revenue equals the number of the items sold multiplied by the price per item. The price per item. So what is the number of the item sold? This is the demand. So that's equals demand times price of the per item is P. So X times P. So always revenue, okay, always revenue equals X times P. If you can interpret the price in terms of the X from the price demand equation, you can write the revenue as a function of the X, okay? So the cost, revenue, and profit can be written as a function of the X, C of X, R of X, and P of X, okay? So let's write here cost function, revenue function, and profit function, okay? Here all of them has the independent variable X, the number of the item manufactured and sold. So let's write this is cost, revenue, and profit. Okay, briefly, let's write something here. As a result, cost function, which is C of X, equals fixed cost price variable cost. Fixed cost not by A plus the variable cost, the cost of each variable, let's say B, okay? So B times X. Here A and B are positive constant, okay? Determined from the context of a particular problem. And price demand function, we denote by the price demand function small p, P of X. This is lower letter, okay, small p. This is profit is the capital P. So they cannot, you should not be confused. Be careful, please, okay? So profit equals M minus N times X. Here again, M and N are positive constant. Since there is an inverse proportion, there is a minus factor here, okay? So the graph of this linear function likes this graph. Okay, likes this graph. And we have the revenue function. Let's write the revenue function. So the revenue function equals X times P, and we have the profit function. And the profit function equals revenue function minus cost function. So revenue is maybe we need some space. So let's write here above. So the profit equals, what is the revenue function? Revenue function is X times P. P is M minus N times X. Maybe step by step let's start. Revenue is X times P. So X times P minus cost is A times BX. So instead of the cost we can write A plus BX, sorry. A plus BX. So now instead of the profit price, we can use the price demand equation. So we can write the M minus NX. So the profit function equals X times price is M minus NX minus A plus BX. So from here we will obtain a quadratic function. From here we will obtain a quadratic function. You will see profit function will be always quadratic function. Also revenue function will be a quadratic function. So to understand all of this function and graph of all of this function, we will discuss the graph of the elementary function in the next subsection.